Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ben Woodward's call, Tuesday, September 22nd. I am filling in for Ben Woodward today, but everything's good at his end. He just called me and asked me to take over. So I'm going to share with you his slides. And so apologize up front if they don't flow and they probably won't be as good as what he does, I'm sure, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, there we go. You guys see that? I don't see anybody on, but I mean, that's fine. Okay, so Ben's topic actually is about time, about making the biological clock our friend. And when he first gave me the topic, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know, for women, we're always talking about our body clock ticking and running out of time or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. But he really, when I go through these slides, time has no independent existence apart from the order of events by which we measure. I mean, it really is interesting. Time is merely the order of events, not the entity itself, right? Time is about measuring things that happen in our life, right? So the dictionary says time is a continuum in which events succeed one another from the past to the present to the future. And events are the basic elements of time itself. And we know how time flies, right? So our pursuit of time, our quality of life is proportionate to the quality of our emotions, so we pursue happiness. However, we don't do a very good job of it. So if you take a look at these stats, and they're a little bit older, in 2004, 79% of Americans considered themselves optimists. In 2013, it was only 50%. And I am sure today, with this craziness that's going on with the pandemic, that percentage has to be lower, right? I just think there are many reasons to not be optimistic, although personally, it has been one of the best things that's happened to me and my family during the pandemic because it's forced us to look at things differently. So here's some stats in our pursuit of time. 11% of Americans have experienced depression by the age of 18. And I'd have to think that this ratio or this percentage has gone up, unfortunately. I think a lot of our young ones with the stress of having to do virtual school and not having their socialization with their friends, it's really hard on them. And I see it in my own daughter who's 21, just that she yearned to be with her friends and not being able to during the pandemic has been difficult. And I know she's not the only one in the young group that feels the same. I mean, really, as an adult, I kind of feel it too. I miss being able to hug somebody and have lunch and eat across the table with them. So it can absolutely influence us on our level of depression. In modern life today, you know, it's interesting. When I saw this slide, I'm like, wow, it's true. Electricity turns night into day. Central heating turns winter into spring. Food comes pre-packed. We work more, exercise less, and disconnect from nature, right? And many times we look at sleep as, okay, yeah, we need to do it, but it's not that important. And that's kind of crazy. But this is the thing. We need to pay attention to our body clock. And we can't beat biology. That's the way God made our bodies. So the cost of sleep, this is also interesting. A few years ago, I did a talk on sleep, and the cost of sleep, lack of sleep, is huge for not just the US, but all over the world. In US alone, there's $40 billion a year lost in productivity, accidents, and medication. He talks about British Airways warns that decision-making can be downgraded by 50%, communication skills reduced by 30%, and memory reduced by 20%. And attention by 75%. And just the other day, we talked about on the Saturday Zoom-in call, one night lack of sleep, right, reduces our immune system by 60%. That is so crazy. And I didn't know this, that the risk of a car accident is 20 times higher at 6 in the morning versus 10 at night. I would have thought it would have been the opposite, but I guess it's because people aren't sleeping well. And so when they're driving to work and whatever, they're just not alert. And that is costing us lives and money. So additional cost of bad sleep is the risk of injury, right? The night shift men, anyone that works that third graveyard shift, they have a 20% higher risk of injury. Sleep-related work accidents, well, he says Britain here, but it's comparable here in the US also. There's a lot of workplace accidents that result because of lack of sleep. I know that if you go to the National Sleep Foundation and you take a look at their stats, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not billions of millions of dollars, are affecting, loss of sleep has been affecting our economy. So we have to change how we think about time, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. So life is not about time, it's about timing. I don't know who took this picture, but they did a darn good job to get all these four guys in the middle of the air in that position. It's, when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, that is so funny. We talk about dramatic timing, right? We talk about perfect timing, comic timing, timing for the best effect. Time is of the essence. You hear that a lot. Well, Ecclesiastes 3 teaches us this: a time to be born and a time to die, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, right? It's all, there's a time for everything, and we can't rush it. I don't know where your faith is, but you know, it's all in God's timing. And we as humans are always trying to push that to the edge in many things that we try to do. So we talk about biological timing. So these are some questions that just think about. How do bisons know when to migrate? Or salmons know when to spawn? And how do some birds know to fly south in the winter? And why are lambs always born in the spring? They don't have a clock that they look at and say, oh, our calendar, right? Why do we instinctively want to sleep at night? Why is the risk of heart attack 30 to 40% higher between 6 a.m. and midday? And why do most women go into labor at nighttime? Interesting, right? It's just some things to think about. Why is asthma worse at night? Why does rheumatoid arthritis give us morning stiffness, but osteoarthritis worse in the afternoon and evening? And why do we eat in intervals during the day and not all through the night? I don't know. Why is the most preferred time for making love is at 10 p.m.? I'll need to talk to Robert about that. But so our biological clock enhances life. This is because it's more interesting in timing than it is about time. If we listen to it, our biological clock eases the tension between the way we want to live and the way we're built to live. This creates homeostasis or balance. And it really is about balance, right? I mean, we are all about balance because we all share and do Nikan, but we have to live and breathe what we're teaching. And we have to respect our biological clock. I think this is cute. I was thinking for a minute, maybe this was Kim, but first we must answer the question, what is a clock, right? So a clock helps us measure things, right? Measure cycles, measure events being passed. As human beings, our clock leads to a circadian rhythm. And I will tell you, circadian rhythm is really important. In Chinese medicine, the circadian rhythm has to do with the 5 elements. And the 5 elements have organs that are associated with it. And each of these organs have active times. And they're usually in 2-hour blocks. And that is part of the circadian rhythm. You know, our bodies are God-made, not man-made. So I just feel that it rotates or it follows the natural rhythm, and that is the circadian rhythm. Just about every living thing has a biological clock, set ticking since the dawn of time. It's about timing and anticipation. It anticipates daily changes and adapts our bodies for maximum effect. It's feed forward versus feed back. I thought that's pretty interesting. The circadian rhythm really does have a lot of power, and a lot of people don't realize that. The power of the circadian rhythm, it stops everything from happening at once, right? And I love Benjamin Zander. I don't know if you guys know him, but he is fabulous. And he is a conductor, right? And everything is, right, when an orchestra or symphony makes that gorgeous music, it's because he's keeping things happen at the right time, right? So the circadian rhythm, it regulates the sleep and the wake cycles, your kidney functions and other organ cycles, our moods and emotions, our body temperature, our blood pressure, and our cognitive abilities. But this is what happens when we disrupt the clock, when we force things to not work, when we force ourselves to stay up or force ourselves to do certain things. This disruption can lead to depression, sleep disorders, obesity, mental health disorders, cardiac arrest, poor social skills, bad choices, accidents, and fatigue. So when you see this, when you disrupt this biological clock, it creates a lot of imbalance. And I just think people aren't realizing that because we're always trying to push our bodies. So we're saying we need to embrace the circadian rhythm. We want to sleep well in a dark room on a good Nikan sleep system. We want to get good sunlight. We want to eat regularly and healthy breathing, good air, drink good clean water. We want to exercise and move our body. We want to avoid the 24/7 lifestyle. You know, that fast life thing is not, or fast lane thing is not good for our bodies. It truly is about being in balance. So don't fight what your body wants. Instead, respect it and nurture it and allow it to truly let your body be in balance. And guess what? When you're in balance, right, your health is much better. And that's what we're all about. So enjoying a better life, the circadian rhythm is designed to create a life in balance. Oh, what a concept. When we are in balance, we live well. When we live well, we live happy. When we're happy, we're more productive and fulfilled. And I love this balloon and her jumping in the air, because it's like, yay, we are free. Because when we live a life in balance, it really does make a difference. And it doesn't make a difference just for us. It makes a difference for everybody else that we're in contact with, right? And we know that. But I think the challenge is many times we just keep pushing. So it is about enjoying a better life, right? Living in harmony with the power within us brings untapped power that enlarges our hopes and enhances our happiness and achievements. And when we listen to our bodies, we can become our best selves and then enjoy a life in balance. And life in balance is what we're all about. So I know that all of you understand that, because after all, we're in Nikan. But I want you to truly think about, let me stop share here. I want you to truly think about where we are today. Like, how is it now? I think personally, the pandemic was a gift from God. It has forced us all to slow down. And some of us fought it, and some of us like, yeah, it's about time I could take a deep breath, maybe take a nap in the afternoon, respect my body. So I just want to challenge you guys. I want you to think about, life as it is today, right here, right now, September 22nd. Are you truly respecting your body? I mean, we teach that in Nikan, but are we doing it ourselves? I just want to, challenge you to think about that. Can today we make a step to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to block out my time. I'm going to respect my boundaries. I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do self-care and just little things, right? I mean, I think that the pandemic has taught me to take time and go for a walk. I mean, I'm not sure my dog appreciates it because we take him out like 6 times a day. But we're taking the time to go out. Robert is working from home, but today he's outside in the back patio in the sunshine. And then sometimes on a call, he goes for a walk at the same time. Life is better. It's different, but it is better. And it's because we're respecting our time and just making a point to take care of ourselves. So self-care is important, respecting time, knowing that we have that biological clock is important. Don't try to fight it. And so I rushed through those slides. Anyway, anybody else want to comment? What are you doing to help respect your body and keep it in balance? Dave, are you on? You're not muted.
Oh, yeah. I am so excited because I had jury duty and
you're
I went
excited?
there, and it's almost worth going there because I went there and then they said, "Oh, you're too old. We sent you an email," and I wasn't on the thing, and so I got a reprieve, and so. I feel it was almost worth going there to just feel so excited. But then I came home and looked, and Ben, I guess he's occupied. So Ruth, thank you for pitching in. But oh goodness, Valerie has got a BNI tomorrow, and she says, okay, what can I do different with my commercial? And I said, well, what have you done before? And I said, just get the Gary Linder magazine out, get some of the trifolds of Rick Murphy. Those are really powerful talking points. And she said, well, I've already said those things to them. And I said, good leaders, they should have everything memorized. All the people that are around a good leader, they have memorized because they say the same thing over and over again. And it's so well said. So yeah, what am I doing? I woke up this morning and did a little bit of exercise before the court. And then I had my Pie Mag water with jade green zymes and my immunity and all those other things. And I was going to do KVB, but I thought, well, I'll just kind of do a intermittent fasting today. But now the KVB is sounding pretty good. But I don't know. I think one of the other things for health is to just share, just to make a difference. I think one of the things that just really feeds my body and soul is just being involved in this global wellness community and reaching out to people and showing them a better way. A week ago, I did the Sizzle call with a Nyla Orr, and it was so good. And I just had the foresight to record it, so that's on SoundCloud. And it's just a miracle of water. And she talked about her grandson, who's just really messed up organs, literally shutting down. They're worried. They want to take his whole colon out, a bunch of different things like that. And just the water, getting on the waterfall, and how this little kid comes up and said, wow, thank you, Grandma. I love the water. Thank you so much. And well, we talked to her about, there's some other things that would probably be really good with his really super irritable bowel, and just going maybe 10 times a day in blood, and just really, really bad, just kind of healing. And so we talked about jade green zymes and KVB and some stuff like that. And the kid is just coming up, oh, can I have some more KVB? Can I have some more? So he's just, probably having that 6-8 times a day, just a little scoop. And it's so easy on the body that he's just, wow, just a miracle. We got something that every time things like that happen again, you think, well, yeah, I'm getting paid, but the real pay is just that, what Luis Kasuga talks about, the emotional or the psychological paycheck. And so I'm really pleased, and maybe I'll see if I get Nyla on the call this Saturday too, this Friday too, for my sizzle, because there's nothing like wonderful stories, but especially little kids, because I think all of us, our heart goes out to, if you're 80 or something like that and you got some problems, well, we kind of expect that. But if you're 8 years old and you're falling apart, that's just not fair. And,
that's right. Well, then, when you think about Ben's topic today was about time. Now, because of us sharing, and that little boy at 8 years old is going to have a better life, right? So his time has been improved and enhanced. So it really, now his mom and dad are listening to his biological clock and feeding him good water, good air, good nutrition. And it's respecting the body, right? So to me, that's a wonderful thing that we can do that with Ken.
That's a big deal. I'm talking about colons. Years ago, I was interviewing Patty Patrick, and she was talking about her husband, and the same doctor was working on a relative, and they took her colon out, and she was just in high school. And in fact, I was just talking to somebody last night, and in fact, we were talking about all this kind of stuff, and he says, oh, I wish I would have known about this earlier, because she's got a brother that doesn't have any of that anymore, and he's got a bag and all these different things, and that just doesn't sound as fun at all. And so Patty Patrick, she's got this really neat story, because the same doctor 10 or 15 years ago, that's been a long time ago, wanted to take his colon out, and they bought a waterfall instead, and he's still got his colon. And some of you know Patty Patrick, but I thought, I always just send that little thing out on a call or on a text, because it's in my recordings on my phone, and I type in search, I just type colon, and it shows up, and then I text it. But I thought, I need to put that on the SoundCloud, so that's on there too. And
awesome.
And what's our favorite product? The one that's working the most dramatic. But I just gotta be pretty excited about the water. But I just had an exquisitely good night's sleep last night in my bed, and I'm so excited. Some of us were at the leadership meeting that they had, the Diamond Summit, and they weren't very, they didn't cover up stuff, and we were kind of probably looking around, and we noticed a prototype of the sleep system, and Ruben is kind of getting that out, and I'm just really thrilled, because I think this is going to help us sell more sleep systems, and that's such a foundational thing for, wow, don't get me started.
We always love you to get you started. Alrighty, well, it's okay that we end early. I appreciate all of you being here, and thank you for being patient with me, and thank you, Dave, for helping me out here. Hope you all have a fabulous week, and see you next week or sooner.
You're awesome, everyone. And hey, thanks, Ruth, for pitching in.
Of course.
Take care.
Have a fabulous week. Take care.
Bye.